And um, so Tony, so yeah, in the third class, as we start to look at culture, different culture and assessment, we're going to be looking at spirit.
Yeah.
And one of the traditional mental health ways of assessing, and it's more than assessment treatment, is looking at family genograms. It's done in very behavioral structured ways, but I'm going to invite our students to do it in an embodied somatic and ancestral way. So what I was curious to hear from you is, how is spirit integrated into the First Nations sense of health and wholeness and humanity? How?
Well, when we do our healings, it's almost when that person is off, we got to go and look for that spirit, and we got to put it back in the body. You know what I mean? So it, for whatever reason, whatever trauma, whatever ails them, it's almost like you go and look for their spirit, whether it's a long way or it's a short way. I remember doing my brother. He had a triple like what do you call them things? Stroke. And I was looking around for my brother, and it was a long way, you know what I mean? And I thought, oh well, and being brother, you know what I mean, he didn't want to come, so I thought, oh, I'll coax him, I'll come halfway, you know what I mean? And then on the third day, I managed to bring him back into his body, and then that's when he woke up. And so it's in a sense, I mean, it's a lot more than just looking for someone's spirit. It's it's because the spirit is a part of your being, you know what I mean? It's like for us, we bring that spirit wherever it is back to the person, and that's when we get the indication whether we know whether it's going to be successful or not. Well, I don't want to use successful, but whether the spirit wants to come back or not. And but most of the time, people want to come back to their body, you know what I mean? And you can make it whole again, you know what I mean? It's all that's all I can say. It's a lot more involved, you know what I mean, than just saying go and look for the spirit and then bring it back to the. So yeah.
But I'm sure it is, and I think it's also important for people to hear that, because it's not part of, again, a lot of westernized approaches. And I think just knowing that, I mean, I know for me, I think of of our bodies, this is my perspective, is the dwelling place for spirit. My body, it's here, and spirit is who I am. And in many traditions, there's different levels and layers of spirit. So I think that's really important. How are ancestors integrated into daily life and our idea of health and wholeness and wellness? For first,
well, there, I'd have to show you a a diagram, you know what I mean, where how your ancestors are connected to you, and your dreaming is connected to you,
Mhm.
and then your physical family, you know what I mean, is connected to you, and then your customs and
Mm.
your law is connected to you, but through your spirit, your heart, your it's your land becomes your body in a bigger sense, you know what I mean? So it's yeah, no, I'll have to draw it because
That would be great.
it's a circle. It's like a for one of a word, it's like a a whirly whirly, but it's like a tube torus, you know what I mean? That sits around your body, and
Mm.
there's different parts of the body that is connected. You know what I mean? It's um, for your head, your heart,
Hmm.
your gut. So it goes on. It goes on to a uh, uh, bigger picture. Uh, so I'll have to draw it, and I'll have to send it to you.
That would be fantastic. Yeah, we can put it up with this recording for our
Yeah,
students.
I'll have to do a modified version, but
Hmm.
it'll still
Yeah.
yeah, no, because it's to do with um your totem, not your totems, well, your dreamings, you know what I mean, your totems, how they fit into, and
Hmm.
um how you have a physical representation, you have a dual relationship in the sense of
Hmm.
physical body and then the spirit body, and
Hmm.
yeah, it's interesting.
It's interesting that you said dual relationship because, in mental health, because what we're doing here is unpacking or, looking at how to decolonize mental health. Dual relationships, people go, oh, you have to be so careful of dual relationships. Like you can't, be friends with your student, or you can't supervise and teach. And, it's all these constructs that have been created, and some of them are valuable. But then I sit here and go, how can we're as human beings, how can we only have one relationship with a person when we are body, mind, heart, spirit?
Yeah,
We're not just this individual sitting here, we're all of our ancestors. I
yeah,
mean, as both my parents died last summer, and so I'm
yeah.
still working out how they're I'm
That
working out my
void.
relationship with ancestors. Well,
Yeah.
it's a void, but I also know that they're there, and so they become part of that. And
No, but the void is like in what we, or me and Michelle, call a third space. That's where they move to. You know what I mean? It's
Mhm.
your relationship with the physical world and the spirit world, and there's a space where they can reside. You know what I mean?
Interesting.
Because it's what the churches name whatever, they name it purgatory. They it's yeah, because um we got relationship to the stars, not
Hmm.
not just our our physical being. It's I mean, we got dreaming stories that talk about a tree that used to go up into the sky. You know what I mean? And people used to come and go through that until the hawk mob learned how to. They learned how to make fire so they could hunt, but they burnt down the tree.
Oh no.
Stuff like that. Just stuff like that. Just yeah.
Yeah.
Our stories. You know what I mean? So yeah, no. Spirit is an interesting term because it means so many things. But I think we can put that as inside it's like
Is it raining harder again or something? Uh-oh. Somebody trying to call you?
yeah.
Yeah.
And it's a funeral I'm doing for a family. So and it's the same like the word. Inside that word, it means it's like when the Malmen they paint, they do ceremony inside the painting, even though it's a flat surface, even though it's thing. So it's the word. We can use the word, but we can go inside that word, and then it can have different meanings. You know what I mean? Inside that word. So it's like a it's a dimensional shift, basically. But
yeah,
we we can have fun on a flat board and then go inside. It's crazy anyway. So the word has many meanings. So inside the word, spirit can mean a physical body, a non-physical body. It can be your heart, it's where it's your consciousness basically. Your Whether it's inside your body, outside your body, it's because me and Michelle are doing the third space, and that's just blowing my mind, because that's endless.
Yeah.
It's so coming back to the spirit, I think I'm just watching these butterflies.
In the rain, there's butterflies in the rain.
Yeah.
That's spirit. That has to be spirit.
Yeah. And so
what color are they? Wait, what
yellow.
Color are they? Oh, yellow butterflies showed up when my mom passed.
Wow.
They flew all over me. Yeah.
And they're gone now. So yeah, your mother's with us. So yeah, and I suppose with spirit, we can look at the signs, you know what I mean, of because that's the physical energy that is showing us. Like we see feathers for one of my aunties passing away, and she's given these mob feathers, you know what I mean? But also animals acting or acting strange, or they're really larger than life, you know what I mean? So there's all these signs that we get. It's just a matter of noticing them,
Yeah.
and they letting you know that they're there.
Yeah.
So they're comforting you, and so it's for us to help us with our grief. You know what I mean? They let us know.
Yeah.
So I'm quite when my mum and my father passed away, I got over my grief very, very quickly, because I know they're there. I just can't see them
Mm-hmm.
in this veiled reality. You know what I mean? So and so that's how
Yeah.
I cope with that. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
because otherwise grief can take hold and really destroy a lot of people. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
no. I mean, I really don't know what to say, because it's spirit is such a vast um, entity in that that gives you reassurance, gives you um, uh, insight into. Uh, it gives you so many um, things that you can't. It's almost. Well, I reckon it's the actions, reactions for people to see and know that people are with you, and
Mm-hmm.
so I don't know what else to say, because it's like those butterflies that was beautiful. There was
Mm-hmm.
3 of them that were floating around, and then bang, they're just gone. You know what I mean? So for me, that's spirit, even though they're in the rain and stuff like that. So
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah. Listening to you,
yeah,
and because you talked about attention, and it makes me think that perhaps our ability to pay attention is seeing through spirit, like we talk about eyesight and sight, but spirit is vision. Like then we can
yes,
see.
that's true.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's true. It's yeah, no, that's a good point.
It was just an
Yeah,
idea.
so
I'm just sharing my ideas.
no,
They're
it's
coming from
it,
you. I mean, it's our third space. Maybe you speak and I
yep,
sense something, and then there's this possibility.
yep. And I think that's a beautiful way of putting it too. It's the third space, or the gap between us, but it's the possibility. You know what I mean? So in the well, let's see.
Are they
There's a
back? Oh,
single butterfly. No, single butterfly.
yellow.
Yeah.
Oh,
So that word, you know what I mean,
yeah.
is yeah, possible.
Their wings must be so strong if they're out there in that rain, because I could hear the rain hitting your car.
Yeah, no, and
Hmm.
it's slowing down a bit. So, so um,
Hmm.
and what else? What was the other thing that was?
That's the only other question I had is, do ancestors, and these are just questions I thought of, but do they influence and shape who we are, or which I'm sure
Yeah,
they do, but yeah. And
yeah,
how do they affect personality? Like, because personality is such a common term used in um,
yeah.
healing and mental health.
I,
That's
s-
my
I
last
s- I
question.
s- I suppose they have a role. I've never really thought of it in those terms. I just believe that whatever influence they have, it's well, it's healing anyway. You know what I mean? So
Mhm.
um, yeah, no, that's chucked me onto a tangent. You know what I mean? Because yeah, because I know through I've done different healings where there's been spirits that are, and your ancestors are spirits in the sense of, so there's been some interesting spirits that have latched onto people. So yeah,
Hmm.
I would see that as a definite influence.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because mm, it's it's an interesting thing. I'd really like to think upon that. You know what I mean?
Okay.
Because
Well, we can talk
um,
about it more next time. We can
yeah,
start with that.
yeah, because there's like a woman. She was riding a bike and she rode past a bush, and she got this like thing on her arm, and what it was like like a gecko or a lizard that had uh, a really curly tail with like a twin barb, and it
Hmm.
hooked into her,
Hmm.
and yeah, so yeah, look, see, there's the rain stopping now, and then there's the brown butterflies are coming out. So anyway, anyway, I notice these sort of things,
Yeah.
and yeah. Anyway, yeah, I'm yeah, but that was interesting because I tell you, she was a art therapist. She just then become a psychologist, but her 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 whole persona, um, she attracted those things to her. I had
Mm.
to do so many sessions with her, and yet she was one of the professionals.
Hmm.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, no. So people can, well, people can attract, and
Yeah.
so
Well, it's interesting. It makes me think of how those of us doing the work, the importance of us being open to spirit, ancestor, our support. I always talk about allies, and often ancestors are allies who we call in and who we pay attention to. I mean, if I'm working with a client and butterflies show up or birds, they're helping. I think they're
yeah,
helping. And it's to ease, um, we can only carry so much. And there's so much when we're open to spirit, ancestors, we have so much more support.
yeah,
We're not doing it alone.
yeah. But there's even, I mean, there's all those European things like um, pixies and all
Trolls.
those, yeah, all those. We say imaginary things, but it's actually they are in the third space. I'm just
Yeah.
realizing that
Yeah.
they can, mermaids, you can
Hmm.
fairies and stuff like that. So
Yeah.
it's when you're open to that, they'll come to you. You know what I mean? So
Magic.
yeah, no, exactly. What we call magic, it's there all the time, but you know what I mean? It's whether people focus their attention
Yeah.
and intention. You know what I mean? So, wow. I just I've known it all the time, but never talked about it.
Hmm.
So anyway, yeah. And so that's it.
I think that's complete. I'll stop the record. Is there anything else you want to say before I end the recording? I mean, for these two, we'll be doing more. But
Yeah, I'm not. Yeah, yeah. No, that's it. I
okay.
feel all right.
Okay.